Before we get too far along in building out our CV, I wanted to address a ton of questions that often come up in the process of building your resume. So, this stuff is all compiled from conversations that I've had with people that are currently on the job search. So, my former employer is now closed. What do I do? That's okay. Add it to your resume. There's no problem with having a company listed on your resume that is no longer in business. I have a handful of those myself, so it happens. What if I was fired? Join the club. It happens, and listed anyway. I mean, of course, like there's fired with cause, there's fired without cause. That's where a little bit of clever wordsmithing comes into play. I've been fired a bunch of times. I don't mind telling you. I even wrote about it for entrepreneur.com. So it is definitely something that happens, especially if you're in the tech space, especially if you're in the startup space. It's going to happen. Should I list a short employment? And it depends, but mostly yes. If it's under 3 months and you're more than 5 years of total work experience, don't bother. Really doesn't make sense. If you're really new and you're entry level, of course, it's totally fine. There's a difference between contract and full position type of employment, multiple short term freelance type of stuff. Put it down under kind of the stipulation of this is freelance. And just so we're on the same page, I borrowed this graphic, but I think it's super relevant in terms of how long most people are employed at these big giant tech companies. And you can see that like it's 1.23 years at the low end for Uber. And these are averages. So there's a lot of people that don't spend more than a year within any one particular employer. It does happen. It's just part of the new normal. What about gaps on my resume? Really depends on you. So employers are going to understand if you're ever specifically asked, it's like I had a sickness in the family. Fuck you. There's nothing that you can say that is going to make somebody be like, oh, well, shame on you for taking care of a sick sibling, parent, or relative. There's there's zero like further questions beyond that. It's really kind of a case by case basis. So let's just look at a couple of quick statistics on resume gaps. So percentage of workers that have experienced a gap in their employment at some point in their career, percent attributed that gap to family responsibilities, percent of hirers that said they are more likely to contact a candidate who openly discusses their resume gap. And here are the results. 70% of workers have experienced that gap in their resume. 39% attributed that gap to family responsibilities, and 51% of hires said that they would be more likely to contact a candidate who openly discuss these gaps. So that should give you a little bit more confidence in having those gaps if that is you. Can I lie on my resume? Depends on you. I've seen a number of really crazy lies in my time. Of course, it sucks getting caught. There is a difference between a big, big lie and a little lie. And honestly, if it gets you the job, far be it for me to judge. And, that's my particular feelings on it. But of course, I want to validate that externally. Watch this video. I think the guy really articulates it quite well when, of course, there are certain things that you can lie about that are going to give you an advantage that are not necessarily ethically bad. So take a moment, pause the video, and watch this. Cool. Some statistics on lying, because why not? Percentage of people, job applicants that have lied in the hiring process, percentage lied on their resume, percentage lied during an interview. I, I would ask in the turnaround, how many employers have lied about the nature of the job? And I would say 99%. So the answer is 35% have lied in the hiring process, 72% lied on their resume, 68% lied during an interview. So it's basically more than half of people lie at some point during this job interview process. It's kind of mutually understood, which is wild. But something to bear in mind, there is, of course, an ethical side of this. If you are extremely uncomfortable with extending the truth, don't do it. But I'm going to leave it right there and move on. So, resume length. I get lots of questions on this. Don't overdo it. At one point, I think I had constructed a resume for myself before I whittled it down that was close to like 6, 7 pages. Doesn't need to be that. That's absurd. Granted, I still have 16, 17 years of experience at this point. It's not something that HR people are going to read through. So watch this quick video of this person basically going through an example of a great CV and why they like it. I have another video. You can pause and watch this one where somebody goes over what a resume would look like for a recent grad. And I've also linked to the actual resume template there, so you can basically hijack that one and do what you want with it. Some length stats on resumes. So, percentage of job seekers that have a resume of 1 page, of 2 pages, and of 3 pages or more. The size really matter. So 60.6, 29.7 for 2 pages, and 10% with 3 pages or more. Honestly, statistics are crazy. Like, I could disprove gravity with statistics, but I'm going to move on. Just be aware that a lot of people have short resumes, and it's okay to have a short one. It's okay to have a long one. There is no real rule for this. Just try to keep it under 3 pages. That's kind of like the big idea. So I have found that a lot of people don't know what good looks like because it's this weird, like, I'm not going to show you my resume. Like, it's weird for friends to show each other resumes. I don't know. So I think it's super important to take inspiration from real world examples and start looking at the different sections, looking at the formatting, looking at the number of bullet points, the length. I think when you become an expert in something, you understand how to break it apart into pieces and why those pieces matter. So I put together this gigantic resource that we'll go over very quickly that gives you an understanding of all the different resources that are available to you so you can see what good looks like. So these are all different resume examples, and you can go into these and check them out. And I've personally built this list, so I think there's some good stuff in there. Resume stickler. Um, so another way of doing this is actually looking at individual resumes by job title. I'm not saying that this is a perfect way of doing it, but you can literally go through and go, okay, I'm a customer service manager. So what does like a resume look like for that? Now, is this perfect? I don't know. I'm not going to say one way or the other, but it exists. So find what good looks like and start to explore that before you go finishing your final version so that you have an understanding of like, okay, that's what I'm up against. That's what other people have done. I think it's super helpful to do this. Take a few minutes and just explore, see what you can find. There's also a ton of resume templates in here when we do get down to the point of building out our resume. So ton of value inside of this resource, and it is there for you. Where can I ask more questions? Well, funny you should ask that. I have a Discord group, so please join the Discord, ask questions. I do office hours. You could also ask any LLM, large language model, or Dr. Google. There's lots of information out there, and with lots of information, there's always contradictory information that is going to ultimately confuse the hell out of you. But just be aware there are resources that you can find answers to give you a little more confidence in the direction that you choose to go.